The best healthcare is there in ways big and small. There when we most and least expect it. We may not see it, but we feel it. It lets us know we're not in this alone. Everyone deserves a healthcare partner who never quits. One who's there for what matters. United Healthcare. There for what matters.
Hey, I'm Charlie. I really enjoy Ramsey County's Household Hazardous Waste program. They make it really accessible with their drop-off options, and they send out postcards every once in a while with helpful information. I drop off my household hazardous waste at the Bay West site. I like to let items in my home collect so I can bring a larger haul just a few times a year. I always tell people to check the website before they go. Chances are you haven't thought of all of the items that you can recycle, like batteries. When I recycle, I feel like I'm doing my part to minimize my carbon footprint, and it's easy and accessible to do so.
It's Not Your Fault is a podcast for parents, caregivers, and young people navigating the world and its challenges. Here's your host, Brandon Jones.
Greetings and welcome to another installment of It Is Not Your Fault, a teen mental health podcast. I am your host, Brandon Jones, and on today's episode, we're covering a topic that we have not talked about just yet, which is executive functioning in teens. Now, we've talked about the growth mindset, we've talked about social emotional intelligence skills, we've even talked about social emotional learning, but all those things kind of center around the concept of executive functioning. And executive functioning has both brain science and tactical skills that are part of its understanding. And it dawned on me, we have not covered this on the podcast, so why not bring those out? And maybe we'll even do more of a deeper dive on future episodes. But executive functioning, why did Brandon think about this for today's podcast? Well, I've been on a really cool project with a independent school here in the Twin Cities, and we were looking at their counseling department, and we were readjusting some things, looking at curriculum, looking at how to better serve students. And one of the things that kept coming up was the executive functioning skills, executive functioning skills, executive functioning skills. And it just kept popping up. And it dawned on me, I don't really discuss these things directly, and I probably should. So I'm going to talk about them with you. I'm going to talk about like the key components of executive functioning. And I want to talk a little bit about the main area of the brain when it comes to executive function. That's where we're going to start. So what is executive functioning? Executive function or executive functioning refers to the mental skills that help individuals manage time, stay organized, and complete tasks. These skills are critical for teens as they navigate school, extracurricular activities, and their social relationships. Teens with strong executive function skills can plan, focus, and achieve their goals more efficiently. Now, when I think of executive functioning skills and a lot of the work that I do, especially with urban youth, I like to talk about it from the standpoint of street smarts and book smarts. This is where those kids really understand the dynamic. And executive function skills show up in both of those areas. And it's important that we highlight and strengthen understanding the street smart awareness and function and skills and the book smart awareness, function, and skills. Both are needed to survive in the world that we're in today. Now, in some areas, in some places, one is highlighted more than the other. But what I try to say is sharpen your skill set and open up your mind to both kind of pathways of understanding because they're necessary in navigating this world that we're in. You have to have street smarts, you have to have book smarts, and you have to have a combination and know when to lean on one or the other to navigate this complex world that we live in today. You know, especially with the advent of AI, especially with the advent of this where technology is and where we are as far as social dynamics. We are probably the most inclusive we've ever been, especially here in the United States. And it's going to be even more important for folks to make sure they understand how to connect with people from different ethnicities, different social backgrounds, different social economic backgrounds, different language backgrounds. Like these are all important. Sexual orientation, gender, all these things are important in navigating today's landscape. So to do that, you have to have three core components, which is working memory, inhibitory control, and cognitive functioning or flexibility. Now, working memory is the ability to hold and manipulate information in our mind. Inhibitory control is the ability to control impulses and resist distractions. And cognitive flexibility or function is our ability to switch between tasks and adapt to new situations. Now, these three components live in this front part of our head. I got a big version of it, what we call our frontal cortex. That is our executive functioning area of our brain. And that area is very important. If you ever have a kid who's playing a sport and they get a concussion, it depends on where they get the concussion, but a lot of times they're checking the executive functioning skills to see if the damage was done in the front part of the head. Sometimes the damage can be done in the back part of the head, and that's when young people lose vision and things like that. They hold, in the classic sports example, if you ever watch an old sports movie and someone gets a concussion, they're waving fingers in their face. How many fingers am I holding up? They may hold up 2 fingers, but the person who's looking may see 4 because their vision's impaired due to getting hit in the back of the head. So that's where all the magic happens, is that prefrontal cortex, that front area of your brain. Now, it's important to understand when trauma shows up, when there's a threat, when someone's in fear, or when they have high levels of anxiety, that front part of the brain is not receiving the proper chemical and electronic signals that it normally would get. And the reason for that is you have what we call your temporal lobes, which are on the side of your head, that's responding to the dynamic that you're in, the stress, the trauma, the fear, the anxiety, whatever that is. That area is revving up because that's the area that protects your body. So when that area revs up, you're not getting the electronic and chemical signals that needs to go there. Those are focused on another area to keep your body safe. So what ends up happening is, in those moments, we don't always make the best executive decisions. Working memory, inhibitory control, cognitive flexibility. We're not doing those things very well because we're in flight, fight, or freeze mode. Like, we're responding to the dynamic that we're in. So what's important is, in our lives as humans, that we design protocols for when things do happen so that we have a response. So when we do go on fight, freeze mode, it's a more natural response for us to do the thing that we've already pre-planned, the thing that we already understood, practiced even, where we're not scrambling and trying to navigate and figure out what's happening in our brain. We have this what's called memory recall, and we can just hop right into it to get into to navigate the dynamic that we're in. So what is the challenge for teens? During adolescence, the brain undergoes significant development, particularly in the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for the executive functioning. This period of growth can lead to challenges like poor time management, difficulty staying organized, impulsivity issues, which is one of the big ones where kids just do stuff. And then you ask them, why did you steal that? Or why did you hit that person? Why did you yell? Why did you run away when the teacher said, hey, take your hat off? And the kid looks at you and go, I don't know. I just did it. That's impulsivity. They just do stuff without considering the consequences of their action. Now, some of that's due to their brains are just in development, but it's also due to them not having the proper protocols on how to deal and address situations. So they just do whatever. They just respond, which can be very dangerous. Now, what are some ways to help with this, Brandon? You're laying out the issues. Kids' executive function is not good. What are some things that young people can do? I'm going to give you 6 strategies. The first thing is establishing routines. This is good for adults too, by the way. Establishing routines. Patterns are good. This is how we learn. This is how we keep things stored in our mind. When you learned your ABCs, when you learn to count, when you learn sometimes even names of people, when you learned different understandings through songs, there was a rhythm to that learning. There was a pattern, there was a recognition, there was a connection point. And establishing routines is all about that. Having consistent schedules helps with routines. Checklists are another important thing where you can just go from boop, boop, boop. You can just follow that line and go straight through the routine. Every child should have a routine. Every adolescent should have routines in their lives, from grooming themselves to eating to sleeping to associating with friends to connecting with parents. These things need to be on standards. They shouldn't be happenstance. They should have some patterns and some flow. in their lives. The next tip is teaching time management. Make sure that you break things down into small steps. Make sure you use timers. Every device that we have today has a timer. And you don't even have to program it yourself. You can just say, hey, Siri, set a 5-minute timer. And boom, 5-minute timer set. That's all you got to do. Is that easy. It's literally that easy. Use the devices that you have to navigate your world. Use them for productivity. Allow the devices to help you be successful. They're not just there for status and clout so you can floss and say, oh, I got the new Apple Watch, or I got the new iPhone, or I got the new Galaxy tablet. Like, that's great. But you really want to have these devices to help you navigate this world, not just to help you stunt and flex and look cool to your friends. That's not only what they're for. Now, you can do a little bit of that, but make sure you're using these devices to the best of your ability. Promote organization is number 3. Organize study space. You wouldn't believe how many young people are studying at tables with junk on top of it, old clothes and books and mail and just junk, all types of stuff. The uncle's tool belt, like there's just junk. Like it's not even a welcoming space to sit, let alone try to study an assignment. Make sure you have space that is conducive and ready and prepared for learning. Make sure that there's that you have maybe there's some headphones there. Maybe it's more of a silent area. Make sure there's a place for you to at least have a drink so you can take a sip and a break. Make sure you have utensils to do your work. Like, just get your area set up and make sure it's not cluttered and just disgusting. This is the word that comes to mind. Use organizational tools as always. Folders, binders, agendas, digital apps, tracking. Like, use these tools, man. They're there for you to be successful. I meet with kids all the time. They don't even have backpacks, man. I'm like, you can't be successful without at least a backpack. Like, at the very least, notebooks, all this stuff is important to help you be successful. I keep a notebook. I keep, Post-it notes all the time. I even do reminders in my phone. I use all the tools I can to be successful. Number 4, enhance focus and self-control. So limit distractions. In this world, it's very easy to get distracted. You got things pinging and popping and letting you know about what's happening all the time, but try to quiet that down. Use the do not disturb on your devices and just focus as much as you can. Sometimes you got to use time focuses. Maybe you can only do 15 minutes at a time. Go ahead and schedule that 15 minutes of focus. Let the buzzer ring. Give yourself 5 minutes of distraction and hop back in for 15 minutes. Trick your mind. Do what you need to do to kind of hop in and be successful. Mindfulness practices are always good. I don't talk a lot about mindfulness because it can get a little woo-woo and I don't want to bore people on the podcast, but I do highly encourage mindfulness practices that work for you. They don't work for everybody, but the ones that do work for you, implement them. Put them in the application. Do them because they do help you reset yourself, ground yourself, and get you ready to be focused. All right, 2 more. Encourage goal setting. Short-term, long-term goals are always good. And one of the things I've learned about goal setting in coaching and therapy is that when you set goals, it's always important to have an accountability buddy, somebody who's checking in with you. It could be a coach, it could be a friend, a teammate, a parent, a caregiver, another colleague, whoever. The check-in is important to keep you on task and to make sure you are making progress towards those short-term and long-term goals. And then the last tip is model and reinforce positive behavior. As adults, we have to lead by example. We can't tell young people to be productive and do things if we're not. They're watching us. And if they don't believe in what you do, they don't see what you do, they won't believe in your message. So leading by example is important, and also having positive reinforcement is important as well. When they do something well, give them a pat on the back. Encourage them to pat themselves on the back. We all need some encouragement to achieve the goals that we have. So that's it. That's all I have for you. Those are the 6 goals. I really think that we have to do a better job at encouraging executive functioning skills in our kids. It's all about discipline and being intentional and not giving up. Really, everybody can improve their executive functioning skills. That's why we have so many books on productivity and so many apps on productivity, because we can all get a little bit better at doing our day-to-day, and we have the tools to help us. So don't let those tools go to waste. Definitely put them in your life. So if you like today's podcast, be sure to check us out in 3 places. The first place is on our Facebook page. You know, it's not hard to find us. All you got to do is go to the Facebook search, put in It's Not Your Fault Podcast, and boom, we're right there. You're going to get the article that I wrote about executive functioning. You're going to see a whole bunch of other cool resources and stuff right there on the Facebook page. Just search It Is Not Your Fault Podcast. Number 2, you can find us at my website. You can find me at my website. Ask me questions. I'm at www.jegna.org. That's JEGNA.org. You can find me directly there. And then the third place is where you can find me and other awesome podcasters helping you not just use better executive functioning skills, but just getting your life right in general. And that is at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. That is ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. That is all I have for you today, folks. Remember, be safe, be constructive, be well, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
To check out previous episodes of It's Not Your Fault, or to learn more about Brandon Jones, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
Meet TAP, the Transit Assistance Program. TAP makes transit more affordable for people with lower incomes, with rides for just $1. To apply, it's easy. First, go to metrotransit.org/tap to fill in your info. Then snap. Take a quick pic of your ID and one other accepted document, like an EBT card. Then tap, submit your application, and after getting approved, you'll get your TAP Go-To card mailed to you in about a week. Finally, load money on your card, then hop on any bus or light rail train to get where you're going for less. Apply in a few minutes and start saving money today. Learn more at metrotransit.org/tap.
It's not just another day in your life. Things are changing for the better. At Comcast, we see those changes, and we're thinking about how we use technology today to live, work, learn, and play. And we're building for the future now, so we're better prepared for the wants and needs of tomorrow. That's why Comcast is rolling out multi-gig internet speeds to more than 50 million homes and businesses before the end of 2025, making our already industry-leading network even faster, smarter, greener, and more reliable. Over the decades, Comcast has been your partner, working hard to serve your community, and will continue to be your partner. We're expanding our gigabits so you can enjoy the tiny bits that matter most.
In this job, I challenge myself and grow.
At Lutheran Social Service of Minnesota, Kelly makes a difference.
We see people, not disabilities. I'm here for them.
Lutheran Social Service is now hiring direct support professionals to work in our homes and empower people in our community. The work is rewarding, and so are the benefits. Full-time direct support professionals receive medical, dental, and vision plans, matched retirement savings, paid time off, and more.
LSS is a great organization. They recognize my talents and my desire to grow.
Kelly has advanced to a job as a training specialist, working with new employees to prepare them to support people with disabilities.
We're neighbors helping neighbors. So do work that matters. Grow with us.
Find your meaningful career at Lutheran Social Service, named a top workplace by employees. Learn more at lssmn.org/immediate openings. Ask about the hiring bonus. You might be eligible for up to $2,000.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast-quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business. Are you a woman known as a good listener? Do you have skills in de-escalating situations? Are you what they call a people person? Then the Minneapolis Police Department would like to meet you. Now in a rebuilding phase, the Minneapolis Police Department is recruiting more women to wear the badge. The department offers career options for women with a high school diploma or GED. There are also opportunities for women with 2- and 4-year degrees who are ready to apply their skills in new ways. Police work makes a great second career for social workers, teachers, nurses. Women in their 30s and 40s are welcome to apply. There's no age cap. You'll be paid while you train and mentored by veteran women officers invested in your success. Minneapolis also welcomes current police officers to join the state's largest department. Make a difference on the streets, working in your community, in a career with competitive salaries and generous benefits. Go to minneapolismn.gov and search police jobs to find out more.
If you live in an older home, it may contain lead-based paint on walls, woodwork, and windows. Even more bad news, lead exposure can be dangerous to young children and impact their brain development. And now, the good news. Hennepin County will fix lead hazards in your home at no cost to you.
We were worried because of the paint in the windows in the bedroom. They were peeling and chipping, and we know that when paint peels and chips, and it looks a certain way, that's possibly lead. We were worried for our children more so than anything.
Eligible homes can qualify for up to $15,000 in upgrades. You may even qualify for new energy-efficient windows. Don't worry, Hennepin County has a trusted list of pre-approved contractors. You won't even have to find companies with correct licenses or certifications.
I've just done a test and it's positive. So we know that this is lead-based paint, and then we know it's a hazard because it's creating dust every time this window moves and opens. And if you look in here, that's just full of lead paint chips.
You won't have to stay with your cousin while you're getting the lead out. Hennepin County even pays for you and your family to stay in a hotel while the work is underway. The last good news is how easy it is to apply. Just go to hennepin.us/lead control to get started.
I'm really happy with the program. We can go to bed knowing that our children are safe.
That's hennepin.us/lead control. Tell your friends about it.
Are you or someone you love at high risk for getting very sick from COVID-19? People at high risk include older people, those with chronic health conditions, and people who are immunocompromised. If that's you, and you experience symptoms like fever, sore throat, cough, runny nose, take a COVID-19 test. If you test positive for COVID-19, be sure to reach out to your healthcare provider right away. You may be eligible for oral antiviral medications that can prevent you from getting very sick and will help you feel better faster. These COVID-19 medications need to be started within 5 days of when symptoms begin in order to be most effective, so don't delay in speaking to your healthcare provider. Your provider can help you determine which COVID-19 medication option is best for you. The medications are free or low of cost, and in some cases will even be delivered to you at no cost. As your provider or pharmacist, ask your provider or pharmacist if you are eligible for patient assistance programs that cover out-of-pocket costs.